Every first Tuesday of the month, we have the religious community in Nyeri town comes for worship in this hall. This is something that has helped us. They come, they pray for us, they pray for the country, they give us advice, and this has been very, very useful in how we have gone. And it also gives us an opportunity to come together every month and just deal with issues, imagine issues, have conversations about what is going on in the country. And today the issue that came up was the registration, as we understand, of an Atheist Society of Kenya, which incidentally even the guy who was talking on behalf of that registration said it is the first registration of that kind in the continent of Africa. And I don't know why Kenya would want to be the country that is the first country to register. I have consulted, and I'm still consulting with the AG's office. I've consulted with the Ministry of Education, even as we were speaking. And there's quite an element of confusion. First and foremost, there's an existing moratorium against registration of societies that was passed in 2013. And that has not been lifted. From what I heard, the people who are purporting to be members of this association saying, they applied for registration in 2016, which would be against the moratorium. So the first thing we will be asking is what happened? How was a society registered when there's a moratorium? The second thing we'll be asking is, how do you register a society whose fundamental objective goes against the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya? In our Constitution, the preamble says that we are a country that recognizes the existence of God. Then you have a society whose principal objective is that they do not recognize the existence of God, being registered by our government. So we have various options that we were discussing today this afternoon. One of the options is actually doing a petition to the AG himself. The other, we have an option of, we are considering whether the Congress, the Kenya Congress of Pentecostal Churches, could go to court or do the petition, or even do a petition to Parliament. That's not something else. I would be very interested in hearing from the ministers responsible and the AG himself how that registration happened. In the meanwhile, I think it is in everybody's best interest if that registration is revoked as this conversion is going on, because unless the moratorium has been lifted, it is already illegal that they have a registration. It already goes against the law that this particular society got registered when other societies have not gotten the opportunity to be registered. So it would be important to also understand from the AG's office how this happened. That we have so many societies that have been seeking registration that have not been registered, but this particular one, which goes against our laws and goes against our ethos, has been registered. And of course, just also having a public debate about whether we want an institution registered that actually infringes on our rights to worship. Because when we, as a country, traditionally, we have had Christian religious education, we have had IRE, we have a lot of religions in this country that also take part in educating their followers and their supporters. But then we have an association that wants to say that you cannot preach. It means that they're going to be asking the Muslims not to be having public prayers, they're going to be asking the Christians not to be having crusades, and I don't know how this would be allowed in a country like ours. We are a country that, as much as we say we are a secular state, we also, in our preamble, acknowledge that we exist because there is a God who exists. So we will be following that. We'll be following that up. I will play my role as a member of parliament. I will use parliament, but I'll also knock on doors in Nairobi. I'll knock on the AG's office. I'll go and follow up and see exactly what happened. I want to believe it was a mistake. I want to believe it was an oversight, because I do not see how the existence of a society like that can be associated with a country that has a constitution like the one we have. So we have to choose. We can't have our cake and eat it. We either have to agree that we have a country that recognizes the existence of God, and then because of that means we cannot actually register anybody, a society that says there is no God, because then we are going to be contradicting ourselves. And that is what we are going to be following up this week.
Thank you.